Hello, I'm Emma and welcome back to my channel. Today is the absolute final day of the Godforge minigame, so we have a few things on the agenda for this video. The first thing will be to pull my last 60 shards. Last chance for Quetzalcoatl, but if you don't get it, that's completely fine. After that, I'm gonna have a little bit of a review of my two accounts, where we are, my final hero, imprint and weapon picks, and kind of how I feel going into the game and how I feel about where I am. So before we get into that though, I've got a little bit of an unboxing to do because I have a package from Fateless. That's also the reason why I'm so big and covering the entire screen, because I want to be able to see this. This is the prize that I won from winning the Valentine's card competition. For those of you who haven't seen it, I've got a couple of videos back, where I create a drawing, like an original fan art drawing of characters from the game for the competition. I received so many nice messages about my drawing in the Discord. It was really nice. Like that video took a long time to make and I put a lot of effort into it, and it was really nice to see that pay off and to see people appreciate the work that I put in. So we're gonna open this. I know what it is because the prize was a mug. I got to pick one from the website. Got some cute little scissors here to make sure I can open this smoothly, and we're gonna open it up. So this is the mug. I picked the kind of standard Fateless one with just the logo, which I think looks really nice and clean. Lovely cup of tea. Right, let's get into the actual video. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to just pull my last 60 shards. I don't have much hope that this will change at this point. That would be quite a stroke of luck. I did my summons on my YOLO account this morning. Nothing on that one. Just pure blues. And that's how we're starting out here as well. It's pretty much what I expected. Are we going to have 60 pulls of just blue? That would be quite an achievement. Let's hope that's not what's going to happen. Okay, we have an epic. We have 3 epics. That's not too bad. Okay, 2 more. And it's blues. This is the last chance. The very last chance to get something different, or hopefully a Quetzalcoatl. I'm going to close my eyes. You're going to see it before me. I'm assuming this is all blues. Okay, let me guess. I'm going to take a guess that there is 1 epic. No, it's all blue. Okay, that's pretty much what I expected. That's fine. I'm happy with Fujin. Oh no, there's another one. Okay, that one does have 1 epic. So my guess for the final temple was correct. 1 epic in the final temple. So, okay. That is where we're at. So in terms of the weapon and imprint, I currently have Forge Fire. I have kept Excalibur on a lock here in case I would put Quetzalcoatl, because he puts out so many buffs. So if I got him, I would have switched to Excalibur. For Fujin, I think I'm going to keep Forge Fire. In terms of the imprint, I have had Son of Zeus here on lock for a little while. They are very similar. The Sun Wukong and the Hercules imprint. The thing I'm kind of debating between when it comes to Fujin specifically is because Fujin puts, let's get him up, he puts protect on the team and also takes damage from the rest of the team. So he's there to protect the team. And the longer you can keep him alive, the more he protects the rest of your team. So the question comes to, which do I think will protect him the most? In terms of Sun Wukong, it puts Immortal on him, but it doesn't heal him up, so he stays alive, but on low HP. I'm thinking very early game here. Like, later on in the game, I will obviously have other heroes, and I won't be relying so much on Fujin to kind of carry me. But at the start, he might, depending on how things roll out, he might be a big carry for me. So keeping him alive, but on low health, depending on how I'm doing for like revivers and healers, it might not be as helpful. So I do feel like the Hercules imprint will help him do a better job in terms of staying alive and protecting the rest of the team, keeping the rest of the team alive. The nice thing about the Sun Wukong imprint is that he does have a 25% chance to join in an ally attack. And because Fujin has an AoE attack on his basic attack, that does mean it could help do more damage. So it's kind of a question on whether I prioritize keeping him alive and in good health, or whether I prioritize him staying alive and also helping with damage. So there's a little bit more versatility to Sun Wukong's imprint, but the versatility won't really matter if he's dead. And I feel like the Hercules imprint will do a better job of keeping him alive. So I did ask in my kind of Pantheon cluster about this, and the kind of general advice seemed to be to keep Sun Wukong. I am torn between the two, but I do think I'm going to leave it at Sun Wukong. So this will be my final lineup on this account. So on to my second account. On this one, we have Morgan Le Fay locked in. I did earlier on have Dracula, and I'm torn on whether I made the right decision. I kind of like them both in different ways, and they're both kind of characters that I have some kind of connection to. Like, I'm a big horror fan and a big horror movie fan. I have tried to read Dracula several times, and I love the first part of the book. Like, the first section that is about kind of Jonathan Harker going to Dracula's castle is hilarious and like such fun reading. But it gets to a point where there's a lot of, I mean, anyone who's read Dracula will know what I mean, but it gets to a point in the book where there's a lot of correspondence and it gets really, really, really slow. So I have read Dracula 2 or 3 times, and each time I have loved the first part and then just gotten stuck and not made it through the end. So I wouldn't say I'm like a diehard Dracula fan, but I am a fan of like the lore and the character. In terms of Morgan Le Fay or Morgana, I used to be a very big fan of the BBC TV show Merlin, and I used to be very active in that fandom on Tumblr and do lots of fan art for it. So I do also kind of feel like I have a connection to Morgan or Morgana. So when I was picking between the two, I kind of just went with Morgan because she seems a little bit more fun, and also I wanted to have a female hero on at least one of my accounts. And speaking of that, I actually saw today that I have Future Sight here, which is an internal imprint, is a little bit more rare and will be harder to get in the game. And I think it will work quite well with Morgan. So I'm going to lock this one in. So this is the final decision on this one. And while the main reason I picked Future Sight here is because it's rare and it's going to be harder to get in the game otherwise, I do also think that it will work well with Morgan because it extends debuff and she puts out a lot of debuffs. So I am happy with this choice as the final lineup on this one. So that is the final lineup of my 2 accounts. So when I started playing, and kind of the reason why I made 2 accounts, I'll put my hands up and say initially it was purely because I wanted to summon more. This was at the point where we kind of didn't really know the kits that well. There were a lot of heroes that hadn't been released. So I made like the smart decision to hold my summons on my main account, but I was just so like eager to summon. So I made a second one just to have something to pull while I kind of made a smart decision on the other one. And after that, like kind of my intent was to have 2 options, because in my experience and from playing games like this before, like for example, when I started playing Raid, I played one account for about 7 days. And after 7 days, I went on Reddit and I posted a screenshot of my roster and I was like, how am I doing? Like, tell me how I'm doing. And I saw I was doing really well because at that point I was completely new to the genre. I was just kind of following the in-game tutorials. I wasn't looking at any references, any resources. I wasn't watching any YouTube. I just kind of followed what I thought you were meant to do in the game, and I thought I was doing really well. And then I got absolutely roasted on Reddit, mainly because I put no effort into my Kale and put everything I had into my Doom Priest, because I thought she was like the best, just because she was always the last one alive in every battle. So I was like, oh, she's the GOAT. She's the best. I'm going to put everything I have into my Doom Priest. And basically everyone on Reddit was like, when I was like, oh, what should I do? And they were like, restart. They were like, why don't you have any kind of like starter champions? Didn't you use a promo code? Didn't you use a starting link? Hadn't done any of those things. And basically I made a decision to start over. And on my first account, I picked Kale as my starter, but I hated Kale. Like, like I've said before, I'm like a very kind of like emotional player. Like I play with my heart a lot, and I really care about like liking the characters that I play with. And I hated Kale. I hate his color scheme. I think he looks really washed out and boring. I hate his stance. I hate how he kind of stands with his leg a little bit forward. He looks, I don't know, he just gave me weird, bad vibes, which is why I never invested in him. And it was like, I was very hesitant to start a new account. But when I did, I picked Elhain and I loved her. I used like a promo code that gave me Fane and Rected Dras. I decided to start with like an all-girls team for that one. I used one of those links where you can like make your own starter kit. So yeah, I had Fane, I had Rected Dras, and then I used like a code for Allure. And then I had Elhain. So yeah, I had like a full girl squad. I loved them all. And I had such a good experience playing from that point onwards. And I was so happy I started over. So for Godforge, obviously now I'm a lot more well-versed in these type of games. I'm not as likely to make lots of stupid mistakes. But just on the off chance that I start an account and I just kind of don't like the heroes, maybe I don't like my starter, maybe I don't like my first pulls, I kind of like the idea of having two options so that like I start with one, and if it's just not feeling right, I can start another one. But looking at my two accounts now, I actually love both of them. Like there's no one that to me stands out as the obvious choice to be my main account. It was never my plan to play two accounts, and I definitely don't think I will be playing two accounts like long term, other than like maybe like in the future making like temporary accounts for like free to play challenges or like specific kind of challenge accounts. I very much intend to play one main account, but I think there's probably a case to be made for playing for like a day or two or however long on both accounts just to see how they feel, like probably picking different starters on both, seeing what kind of early summons I get, and then making a decision which one to continue with. That might be a lot for me. That might be a bit overwhelming, seeing as I haven't played the game before, haven't played the early alphas. So kind of taking on the game from the start on two different accounts might be a lot, but I think maybe it's worth it just to see what feels right. But yeah, that is where we will be ending the minigame. I'm very happy with this. I'm excited to play both of these accounts potentially, although I definitely will start with the Fusion account. And maybe if I'm really happy with how my early progress is, I'll leave it at that. But I think it's worth playing both accounts and see where they go. I'm assuming anyone who's watching this has also been playing the minigame, so do let me know what you ended up with. I'd love to hear it. If anyone has any kind of comments or tips on my picks, like anything interesting about these characters or how they work, any kind of specific areas where they are useful, then I would love to hear it. Thank you so much for watching to the end. See you next time. Bye.